KNick of Time Show. Go check out that show. It's a great show. It's a great show.
New York, New York, big city of dreams. New York, big city of dreams.
What's going on? This is Jay Ellis from the Knick of Time Show, here giving you that Knicks talk just in the nick of time. And it's time to talk about the Knicks bench, man. It's our mid-season review, part 2. Part 1, we talked about the Knicks starters and we graded them based on their performances so far, at least into the mid-season. And now it's time to talk about what we think of the Knicks bench. And I'm ready to get into it and talk to my pupils. First and foremost, it is Mr. NBA economy himself, Fritz Alessandro. What's good, Fritz?
Hey, glad to be here. Ready to talk about the other Knicks, and yeah, they're on those small roles on this team. Yeah, so let's talk about it.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see how we agree or disagree when it comes to these small rolled Knicks. A lot more nuance with these guys than the starters. All right, and of course you already know it is the Latin assassin, ESPN contributor, hosting and toasting contributor, Bleacher Report contributor, our guy Lee Escobedo. What's good, Lee?
What's good, dudes? The Knicks bench is very different in late January than it was in late December. So it's I go through the entire contingency of bench players, future bench players, and guys who might not be here very much longer.
Yeah, we'll see. We definitely going to see. Yeah, and it's funny because parts of our Knicks bench have actually started a few times between Deuce, between Mitch and Shamet. So it kind of gives you an idea of like how important the bench pieces are if they all can kind of start at some point. But let's get to it. Do you want to go? Y'all want to go mid? You want to go debate? You want to go like obvious? How you want to start?
Let's save the debatey ones for last.
All right, we want the debatey ones for last.
We can start mid.
Okay, we'll start mid. Damn, I feel like mid is debatey, actually.
Really?
I feel like mid is debatey because that's where the most swing is. Let's start with Mitch, though. Mitch, yeah. Fritz is here. Let's start with Mitch. Mitch has started. A lot of us wanted to see the double big lineup. Because a lot of us wanted to see the double big lineup because that is the lineup that has kind of propelled the Timberwolves when they had Cat and Rudy Gobert. We thought we could see the same thing with Mitch and Cat, but it didn't quite work out all the time, at least the beginning of the season. Although as the season has gone on, the double big lineup is starting to look better and better. The chemistry is starting to form. Mitch has had some success in the starting lineup, but it seems like he's found even more success coming off the bench, dominating offensive rebounds and block shots, and even having career numbers. So, Lee, I want to get to you, and first, I want to get your thoughts on Mitch Robinson's season so far, and give us the numbers for Mitch Robinson this season.
Will do. I'll be giving the stats and the facts for each of the players before we start the dialogue. Mitch is averaging this season 4.9 points per game, 9.2 rebounds a game, and career high offensive rebounds per game, 4.9, while shooting 68% from the field.
Whew. Yeah, that is career. Yeah, for a guy who has already been top of the class in offensive rebounding almost his entire career, having a career high year this year is pretty meaningful. And even when you go to the clean the glass stats, when you're looking at the offensive rebounding percentage, he's in the 100th percentile. That's right. 100th percentile when it comes to offensive rebounding, which means he is officially, according to Clean the Glass, the best offensive rebounding big in the entire NBA. And there's been plenty of stats going around that kind of illustrate that, talking about even though he does not play starters minutes, his offensive rebound rate is just higher than everybody else's. So let's talk about the grade. Fritz, Mr. Trade Mitch himself. I want to see what your thoughts on Mitch is and What's your grade for Mitch Robinson? Is Fritz frozen?
I couldn't tell if he was frozen or he couldn't believe it. You were bringing up that he wanted to trade Mitch. I think he's frozen. He looks very serious.
Oh shoot. Okay. All right. Well, typical Fritz. When it comes time to give Mitch praise, he logs off. I'll just
listen, Jay. I'll go ahead and grab that offensive board and pick it up, just like Mitchell Robinson. Mitch has one of my 2 A's for this series of bench grades. I gave him a straight A. It would be an A+ if he could hit his damn free throws.
Yeah.
No player is perfect, but when it comes to defense and rebounding and rim protection, he's one of the most perfect defensive players of his position. I think he's the 4th most important player on the team. You could make an argument the 3rd most. And our identity, both on the offensive end and the defensive end, is centered around his play style, even more so than Jalen Brunson. The offensive rebounding is a crucial component of how our offense runs, as is the second chance points. And then on the defensive end, the defensive rebounding, the rim protection, the ability when we do have the right lineup to switch. And I think any level of competent zone is going to involve Mitchell Robinson. But also the rebounds are such a spirit killer. Like they're bat breaking. They can actually swing a game because of the pressure that he applies on the offensive rim. It just takes the bigs out of a game, right? You start becoming, we've seen it. Teams become dejected, and his rebounding leads the run that gives us the lead in the game that ends up winning. And he has been, after Jalen Brunson, I would argue, the most crucial player in winning playoff series. He was absolutely elite. You could even say he was the MVP, perhaps, of that Cleveland series that we won the first round. And he was right there with Brunson as the MVP of the Philadelphia series. So He's essential to any championship aspirations we have. Mitchell Robinson is to that. And I think we must do whatever it takes in this roster for us to be able to re-sign him this summer and have him being the backup center for the rest of this championship window that Leon Rose has built us.
Absolutely. And when it comes to playing these bigger centers, you absolutely just need him in the lineup. Like you said before, we don't beat the Cavs without Mitch. We don't beat the 76ers without Mitch. Hell, the game that we just played, Cat got into foul trouble, and we had to rely on Mitch to play defense, and he played a lot better than he did the first game. He was able to stay down on the pump fakes, block shots, get steals, run the floor. And like you always say, Lee, he sets multiple picks to free up Jalen Brunson. And that screen game is one of those intangibles that we need to run an offense, and he helps us run an offense by getting our best offensive player, Jalen Brunson, multiple screens and multiple cracks at shaking his player without having to, tween by himself. So, and also I feel like quiet as kept, his steal rate is kind of underrated as well. He's always been one of the top big men in steals. Last year, he was at the 97th percentile when it comes to steals. This year, he's in the 87th percentile when it comes to steals for sure. So, and he's slowly kind of getting more minutes as his importance has creeped up. Cat has been in a lot of foul trouble, so we need to get more 20, 25-minute games for Mitch to actually pull out games. So for me, I'm with you, Lee. This is an easy A for me. And some people will kind of talk about he doesn't score enough. We need to give him more lobs. And I think we'll see he's still one of the best lob threats in the NBA. We just don't really utilize him as such. And it's hard to overlook it because we have so many offensive weapons and so many ways to score that we kind of neglect that sometimes. So like I do feel like he still has the ability to score a little bit more if he got the ball in certain places that allow him to score. But for people who are like, I don't want to give him an A because of his offensive limitations. Like, I grade based off of your role here. Your role isn't to score 50 points. Your role is to defend and rebound. And he's defending and rebounding at the highest level possible. And that's why I agree with Lee and give him an A. It would be an A+, but like Lee said, those free throws, damn it. Those free throws have to get a lot better. If you got the free throws, then we didn't have to take him out of games at the end. We wouldn't have to go OG Anunoby at the 5 at the end of games. We could keep Mitch in the games for the entire game. But everything else has been top tier when it comes to Mitch Robinson, who I'm leading. Yeah, I'm giving him an A for the season.
My two favorite intangibles about Mitchell Robinson, first, is that he plays seamlessly no matter who he shares the floor with. Doesn't matter if it's Koleck or Deuce or Clarkson or Yabu or OG or Cat. He can go double big, or he can be the only big on the floor, and he still plays with the same level of effectiveness as very few players, especially centers, that you can say that about on the defensive end. And my second favorite intangible about him is that he's kind of one-on-one. There's really no one else in the NBA that mirrors his game. That you can make an argument for sure that Steven Adams in his prime was just as good as Mitchell Robinson as a screen setter, as a lob threat, as someone who can guard two on the ball, someone who was even switchable against some of the bigger, longer wings. Steven Adams is really the only other name in modern history. That makes Mitch a player you could drop in any era, and he's dominant in every single era. Again, not something you can say about very many players, especially ones in today's era that are kind of more skill-based. Mitchell Robinson's defense, his IQ, his ability to fit seamlessly with any four teammates, really to drop in the 50s, the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, early 2000s. He's still a beast. So those are my favorite two intangibles about him.
Absolutely. All right, Fritz is back just in time to not hear us talk about Mitch's good praises. So now I'm waiting for Fritz's grade.
I give Mitch a B+. He's done a lot outstanding on the boards, defensively and offensively. The only knock, if I could say, is his free throws. He started historically bad this season, and he's kind of gotten back to where he usually is in the last month or so. But yeah, historically, he's giving a historic performance this year. I think this is probably more impressive than the years that he's set the record in field goal percentage.
True.
So I don't know. I think the Knicks are gonna, if there's any way they can keep him, they're gonna try. If there isn't a way to keep him, perhaps something happens. But I think Mitch has done his part. He can't control how many minutes he plays. He's playing about 18 minutes a game. I wish it was more. That way you could probably say he could prove whatever paycheck he wanted if he was playing 30 minutes, but 18 minutes a game, it seems like it's a Knicks decision, a medical staff decision, and that's not up to him.
Yeah, I agree. Hold on. I need y'all to pay attention, all right? Because I don't know if you guys missed it, if you guys been following KOT all season, but Fritz said something very important that I never expected Fritz to say. He said the Knicks will try to keep Mitch. He's had Mitch in trade scenarios for seasons. This is the first time I've ever seen him on camera saying he feels like the Knicks are going to keep Mitch. Mitch changed Fritz's mind. That is historic, all right?
I've always liked Mitch. I just think his situation is odd. It's one of those positions where the business becomes before anything else.
He's in the position where Leon Rose's trade, every other player has been in his position, like where the extension is not kind of automatic and understood to happen. Leon's eventually traded. I think Mitch holds way more status than any of the players that came before him that were in that situation.
Yeah. There are scenarios like where giving Mitch money won't matter. If you're gonna blow the budget for the next 2 years, might as well add Mitch. You know what I mean?
Here.
So you don't know yet. Like if they get Giannis in house, perhaps it doesn't matter. Like, hey, we're gonna blow the budget. We're just gonna, floor to the floor to pedal to the metal,
balls to the wall, pedal to the metal, all that stuff. Yeah.
You pay whatever it is.
I get it, man. I get it. And shout out to Ian Begley, because I was watching the show a few weeks ago, and he said this specifically. He said, yes, there's been players who have not been extended and they've been traded immediately. But the only player that hasn't happened for is Mitch Robinson, who was not extended during the season when he was eligible to, and then ended up being signed in the offseason. So yes, there is still hope for Mitch Robinson, despite he not signing an extension. At least in the Knicks' mind, they might, like Fritz say, try to work something out.
Yeah, and it's not just if you're a good player. There are a lot of good players in the league. But Mitch is unique, and that's one of the things. It's like you can. Randall was a good player, but there were other good players on the market. The thing about Mitch, you could trade Mitch, but you're not going to get a replacement for Mitch. You're going to get something else.
Yeah,
and that's the difference.
Yeah,
Fred's cooking about Mitch.
Yeah. Listen. New year, new Fritz, okay? New year, new Fritz. Now, but you're right, though. He's not really easily replaced. When you start to think, oh, we can get somebody else to play his role, it's not that simple to get. Like, he erases so many mistakes that you can't just find that anywhere. It's really hard to find that specific skill. Like, he can literally get you back into or win the game without scoring.
Yep.
And that's not easy to find and quantify for. So yeah, Mitch Robinson, yeah, good grade for Mitch Robinson. Let's move on to another player. But before we move on to another player, I have to introduce.
Let's go.
Yeah, gotta introduce my guy, Ryan G in the building. What's good, Ryan G?
Crispy.
What's good? Yo, what's up, everyone? Glad to be here to talk Knicks basketball and give out some grades. Heard y'all talk about my boy Mitch. So I don't know if I could get my grade on him right quick or we moving on to the next player.
You can give a grade.
All right, well, yeah, I'm gonna just give him a grade right quick. For me, Mitch is a B plus. The only reason he doesn't get an A in my book is because I did feel like there was a part in the season where he was slipping a bit in his production on the defensive side of the ball, which is the only reason why I don't give him a A. I feel like this season, especially this past month in January, he's looked like a beast on the defensive side of the ball, guarding multiple positions, on switches, offensive rebounding. And while the Knicks were going through their bad streak, like he was literally the only guy who was producing the way he should produce on the court. And I feel like within the past month, he's definitely upped his stock with his play. And, I just hope that he continues his play, going on to the playoffs. So, yeah, the only reason Mitch doesn't get an A from me is only because he was slipping for a while early in the season. But now he's a beast. So for me, he's an easy B plus.
Solid. Take that. 2 B pluses, 2 A's. We'll take that to the bank. Good grades for Mitch. Let's get to the other. I feel like the bench might get some good grades, actually. Think about it. Let's go to another player. Let's go to ShamWow, man. Let's go to ShamWow. ShamWow is kind of like a revelation for us because he barely got any time last year. We kind of were upset he didn't get a lot of playoff run when he came back. This year, you heard Mike Brown pretty much sing his praises pretty much from the start. Before a game was played, he was talking about Shamet. Started a few games when Josh Hart was out. Actually started over Josh Hart to start the season. He went down with a shoulder injury, fighting over a screen, which has kind of been on brand for him. And when he went down, he kind of struggled when he went down. And when Josh Hart went down, he kind of struggled. And even when some of our players got back, there were still a little bit of holes in our defense. And I kind of feel like when Shamet came back, it's only been a short minute, but I kind of feel like more complete again. Like I feel like we got all our weapons. I want to get your thoughts on Shamet, and we'll start off by the numbers, Lee. What was Shamet's numbers for this season and his stats?
Before I drop the stats, shout out Bonner Lee with a $1.99 super chat.
Okay.
IG in the building. Listen, man, it ain't KOT show without the best co-host of all time in the game. Landry Shamet tonight. This season is averaging 9 points per game, 2 rebounds a game, 1.2 assists per game, 46% field goal shooting, and 44% from 3.
Woo. Okay. Shamet Hive alive. He's also 85th percentile when it comes from the 3-point line. When it comes from the long mid-range game, that's the long mid-range. He's in the 88th percentile when it comes to long mid-range shots. His point attack defense, like I said, has been good all season. And propensity to hit big shots in clutch moments. We've seen it a few times. Not even just big shots, but big stops as well. None bigger than, remember what game was that? Was it the Orlando game? What game did he make the game-winning stop and cause an offensive foul in the fourth quarter? Can anyone remember that? That was probably that might be the biggest defensive stop of the season so far. And then, because I think that happened right before he got injured.
He got injured against Orlando, right?
He got injured against Orlando, and I feel like the game before Orlando, he made a crazy defensive stop where I don't remember who it was. A guard was blowing by him, and it was him versus what guard, and the guard was about to make a layup. Shamet raced. Shamet was behind the play, raced in front of him, got in front of him, and got an offensive foul when we thought it was about to be an easy layup to lose the game. And he won us this game with his hustle and his defense in that play. It was a big play. I forgot what play that was. Can anybody in the chat remind me? Everybody forgot, damn it.
It wasn't a Miami game, right?
Mavericks. It was a Mavs game.
Yeah, Mavericks. Yeah,
it was Brandon Williams when Brandon Williams was driving to the rim.
There we go.
Yeah, Mavericks.
Arguably the biggest stop of the season.
Yeah,
the biggest defensive play of the season. I feel like was that play. And now that I think about it, when I talk about who's having high grades this season, I thought I was only gonna give out. I might give Shamet an A, yo. I'm not gonna hold you. Now I'm thinking about it. I think I'm giving Shamet an A. Cause I thought I was only giving A couple of people, but I might be a happy teacher today because, like, seriously, he came in here as like the 15th guy. He's supposed to be. I'm judging his role, right? If you're judging a player's role, your role is to be a guy, a spark plug off the bench to score, and you're so good that you're ending up having to close games and even start over people sometimes. Also, the fact that we've been desperate for point of attack defense, and he provides that for us. Listen, he's even closing over Mikal Bridges. So when you're taking that into account, I feel like he's exceeding his role. And if you're coming off the bench exceeding your role, I feel like I'll have to give you an A.
Jay, pass me the rock.
Go ahead, Lee.
I'm with you 100%. Shamet has my highest grade for the entire team at an A+. He's the only A+ that I have for every reason that you just laid out. He was someone that when training camp was battling Grayson Matthews for a spot on the team. And you think about where he came from, back-to-back seasons in a row, where he's gotten to after back-to-back shoulder injuries in a row. He's done absolutely nothing wrong, and he's done almost everything right. He's been consistently one of our most dependable defenders at the point of attack that we've had even during the ups and the downs of January. Second, you have to admit he's probably the best screen navigator we have on the entire team. And there's an argument he's our best pure shooter on the team. Very close between him and Deuce, but I think his playing style mimics Dante DiVincenzo the most because what was DiVincenzo? A great screen navigator, a great point of attack defender, someone who caused chaos in the passing lanes, someone who could both be a relocation or a movement or a catch and shoot three-point shooter and hit big shots when you need it and interject a little bit of like charisma into the team's moxie. He does all of those things at a discount bargain bin price, making the veteran minimum just under $3 million, someone that was laughed at as an addition, someone that was like, who is this guy? But when he was added to Tom Thibodeau's team and now Mike Brown, he's plug and play. Doesn't matter what kind of system you're running, what kind of offense, what kind of sets are at the top of your priority list, or what kind of defensive schemes you need. Switch, zone, man-on-man, he can do it all. And he can do everything a little bit above average, which is why he's had such a long career and why, like Mitch, you can drop him in any era, and he is a successful journeyman.
Yeah, I agree. What you thinking, Ryan?
For me, Sham is an A-. Yeah, he's one of those players that I think he he gave more than expected this season when he was in the rotation. Broke the rotation, good defense throughout the season, great 3-point shooter, and he definitely had moments this season, like you explained, the stop on Brandon Williams to end that Mavericks game.
Yeah.
And he's hit a few big shots as well this season. I think for somebody that was expected to be end of the bench, to come in, take a spot in the rotation and be productive, you have to give him an A-. He gave us more. He gave us much more than what was expected coming to the season.
Look, dude got Clarkson getting DNPs. So if you were the 15th guy, had to fight for your minutes, and now your big offseason signing is getting DNPs because you're playing so well. I don't know how you give him anything under an A. That's just how I see it. What do you think, Fritz?
I'm gonna give him an A+ just because you have to give him extra credit. He's not supposed to be here.
Yeah,
like he's the Knicks wanted these big signings over the summer. He kind of stayed in the wings. He had offers. He's still waiting for the Knicks. Everybody's kind of wondering why he's waiting. And he took his chance. He really wanted to be here. Like, I think he's not just. I think he's kind of earning himself maybe a longer contract after this year.
Absolutely,
because he's not supposed to be here. He got injured, came back when we kind of questioned when that injury happened if his year was done.
Yeah.
And then when he came back, we were saying, oh, he's going to come back. He's going to be situational, basically breaking case of glass, and he's worked himself
again
in the hardest rotation.
Again. Tyler Koleck was playing. Jordan Clarkson was playing. He came back and sat both of them back down. And I want to expand the conversation even more. Because even when you're looking toward the future and you're looking towards the future and you're like, all right, trade deadline is coming. Knicks have been targeting Jose Alvarado because of his defense. If we have somebody, Jose Alvarado is a defensive guy, also a point guard, but he's not a point guard who's a super table setter. You know what I'm saying? So it's like if he's not like a point guard table setter, but he's a guy who plays defense and shoots threes, it's the same conversation now. It's like we have a guy who plays defense and shoot threes. Do we need to trade? I'm starting to think, do we need to trade for Jose Alvarado now because we have Shamet here who shoots threes and plays defense, and we've been clamoring for a point of attack defender, and we have one who's been with the team. So you bring Alvarado here, you risk trying to put him back to the bench again after he's beaten Clarkson and Tyler Koleck for a spot. Like, I'm starting to rethink this whole thing now again because of how good he's playing.
I hadn't thought about that, but you raise a very good case. I couldn't find myself while you were talking finding any holes in that. Like, why also I disrupt the locker room by bringing a very, very large personality that if he's not playing, how does that large personality factor into the equation even more? Because it becomes a different variable then. If he's on the bench, he's not getting playing time, but he has a loud voice. Sometimes that can be destructive. You would think that he's a New York native, so maybe it might offset that a little bit. But you also means you hold on to Koleck or Yabu for another package down the line. You hold your assets and move it for the bigger prize. That might be a month away or it might be the summer away. So I'm with you. I think I agree with you now with Shamet's emergence and the fact that Shamet has caused the benching of two poor defenders. It made sense for us to maintain as is.
I'm still in on Alvarado. If you can get him at a reasonable price and you're not giving up a whole bunch of picks for him.
What's the reasonable price? I think Yabu
and one of the kids
and seconds
and a couple seconds, yeah. But I think Landry Shamet has shown he's versatile. Like, he's not just the point guard. He's just a guard. So I think you could play him at point guard, shooting guard, and some of those weird lineups you've seen him at small forward.
Here's the thing, Fritz. I feel like if that's your trade price, right?
Yeah.
I feel like the pro of doing that is just a Deuce McBride safeguard.
Yeah, I think you have to. I can't look at this team and say, hey, we're gonna keep this roster for 4 years. I think you gotta, they're gonna be future moves. So I gotta look at the future. I can't. It's not gonna stay the way it is.
And for the audience, I'm gonna expound on what I mean when I say a Deuce McBride safeguard. We all know Mitch and Deuce could be up for extensions. Deuce how many years left does Deuce have? Does he have this season and
Year and a half.
Year and a half. So like when I say Deuce McBride safeguard, it means like in the case that Deuce decides to leave, we still have a defensive guard coming off the bench. But then when it comes to this season, though, that's when it gets crazy because then it's then Shamet and Alvarado vying for playing time, and like Lee said, maybe there'll be some friction there with that. It's not from Shamet in particular because Shamet is gonna be a team player, but like if Shamet beats Alvarado out, or like even you know it is when you have a new player, it takes a minute for them to get situated with the team. It's not like add water for the most part. You know what I'm saying? So just keep an eye on that and just think about that, everybody.
I agree. The point guard's the most important position on the floor in the modern NBA too. So you're also adding someone who needs to be a plus immediately, at least better than Koleck defensively. He's also not that great of a shooter. So there's some compromising and making up for you have to do with the spacing that the lineups that he's playing with it. He's also 6 foot. So there's some things that you have to negotiate on whether he's worth it. To me, he's not worth any second round picks. I think we need to retain those for trades that make us better, not lateral or just are kind of more personality improvements. I wouldn't trade any second round picks. I don't think there's much of a market for him. New Orleans has shown an increased willingness to deal him, which means there's no leverage there. Like he's not considered a part of a core. I don't think you should have to give up even 1 second round pick, but I do think they would have to include Koleck though.
Yeah, I think New Orleans is gonna lose him regardless this summer. That's why they're trying to deal him. So, and they're not playing for anything. So they're dealing him because he's gonna leave. He's going to opt out.
I don't know if he's not worth a second round picks at all. I just think it's our situation and their situation. Like I wouldn't, if a team gave second round picks for Alvarado, I wouldn't call them crazy.
Well, the reason that I say that specifically is if Koleck is the piece you're giving up, it took like 4 second round picks to get Koleck from Portland. So you're really considering that in the wide scope of things, this is, say it's 2 picks for Alvarado, that's 6 second round picks for Alvarado. I think about it in those terms as well. And to me, that's like, hell no, absolutely not. First of all, we shouldn't have been given 4 for Koleck. I kind of see the vision in some ways, but he just hasn't been able to play the defense necessary to be a part of the rotation. So it's more than just the 2 that you're giving face up. You have to think about what we got for Koleck. Or if it's Pacome, that's a first round pick you're giving up for a guy like Alvarado. Again, I wish it would just be Yabusele, but it can't be because there's no value there.
Yeah, he's a negative at this point. Let's talk about one of the people he beat out for a role. Okay. Jordan Clarkson. I feel like this might be the debate. I feel like this could be a debate. We'll see. Jordan Clarkson, as you know, like I haven't really been the biggest fan in general of Jordan Clarkson, but I keep saying that I do see why a role here would be beneficial for us, because sometimes you do need a guy without a conscience who says, F it, I'm going to shoot the ball. So I get the need for him. But I think the thing is we had multiple needs, which is why he's out the lineup right now. But Jordan Clarkson, had a few pretty good games where he actually saved us. Like he saved us during the Spurs Cup game. Like we don't win that game without Jordan Clarkson. I feel like the Christmas game, we were dead in the doldrums. He saved us during the Christmas game.
Facts. Big time.
He saved us a couple of games. So when you talk about Jordan Clarkson, even if you're like down on him, you can't really, in my opinion, I don't know what your opinion is. In my opinion, can you be completely down on him? I don't think you really can. So I'm really curious to see how you guys grade him. Lee, let me know what you think. And just let me know his stats too, because I know you got the stats ready for Clarkson.
Clarkson stats for this season: 9.5 points per game, 1.8 rebounds per game, 1.3 assists per game. He's shooting 42.5% from the field and shooting 33% from a 3-point line. I actually thought it was going to be worse than 33%, and my guess is going to be in the 20s. But so that was actually a surprising element. And my grade, I gave him a C.
Okay.
I think there were moments where you listed them. He was a big part in why we beat some of the really good teams, San Antonio, Cleveland. And I think that he, of all the players that are having down years or might give a downgrade, he's the only one that I think can bounce back this season. I do think he will bounce back this season and be back in the rotation by playoff time. I think he will be a key piece in playoff time as well. I think he'll have how Ryan feels about Tyler Koleck hitting a big shot. I think Jordan Clarkson would do the same for us, because that's just what his career has been. And it's hard to doubt someone who has shown you time and time again with almost every team they played on, but they can deliver that when it matters most. So it's a defense for him. But if we did better collectively as a team, then it's a little bit more pliable to insert him back into the rotation, because you've kind of solidified the core framework of what your shell is game to game, and you can account for someone who might be a minus during their time on the floor. But he's got to get better at it. But he has had, his offense is unlike anyone else outside of the big four. He's the only other one, even more than Josh Hart, I think, who can get his own bucket against a great defender in one-on-one on an island. So I did him a C because the defense has been absolutely atrocious. Yeah. Even the awareness, it's bad. He's not even trying out there most of the time. He does a lot of ball watching, and he has started to, in the month of January, score outside the flow of the offense in a really negative way, where he's no longer really a part of like the shell or the movement. He just, like, when he's relieving Brunson to be off ball, he's guaranteed going to shoot. And that's type of ISO offense that kills the momentum of a team and lets the other opposing team also attack him on defense. I can't, in my mind, justify anything higher than a C.
Funny enough, Lee, I feel like he was always disruptive in the flow of the offense. He was just hitting the shots, so it wasn't noticeable. Like, there were times where I'm just like, oh, he's going to just post the guy up. Okay. Oh, when it
It was more in the beginning of the season when he was filling the corners. He was becoming a decent corner shooter for us. That faded away very quickly, though.
Right. So, as far as Jordan Clarkson go, I feel like a C plus, only because of those big games, like those big games where he saved us. Where the chucking saved us. Like, he all of a sudden he's just hot. He hits a ridiculous amount of threes that I feel like he shouldn't even took in the first place, but he took them, and they started to go in. And and then there was a time where I felt like he was locked in defensively, but I think a lot of people say it's consistency. The consistency has been the problem. On top of that, the shooting hasn't really been there for him this season. When you're talking about, his shooting, I'm looking at his in the glass shooting numbers as we speak. He has been in the 29th percentile when it comes to 3-point shooting. For a wing. Hasn't really been shading well at the rim either. He's been like a little bit in the mid range is kind of where it seems like his bread and butter has been, in that little short mid game. So he hasn't been shooting well at all, and his defense hasn't been good. Funny enough, you talk about, I have a theory. We'll see what happens when you get multiple DMPs in a row. You might actually be traded. So I'm still keeping an eye on that. I know people feel like he can help us, and he probably could help us. He probably could help us in the playoffs and get like a game or two when things are looking bad. We throw him in to see what he does. If he lasted in the playoffs, because veterans want to play basketball. That's just what it is, especially in this part of their career. I remember last season we were talking about trading for this veteran and playing for that veteran, and it was like, what would their role be? It was like, oh, well, they'll be the 14th and 15th man on the bench and just be waiting to play just in case someone gets injured. No basketball player wants to sign up for that. That's just what it is. So we'll see what happens. Oddly enough, as bad as he's kind of played this year, I feel like his good moments might still have him have a little bit of trade value if he decides to be traded. So I don't think we'll even need to attach anything.
Agreed.
Unlike Yabusele, who we'll get to. so it's like if he ends up making a request, it might be a little easier on us. But I'm giving him a C+.
Whoa, higher than me.
Yeah, I'm giving him a C+. What are you thinking, Fritz?
I give him a C+ as well. Yeah, he when he was bought out, he came straight to the Knicks. Like I'm gonna give him a little credit for that. I really enjoyed when the offense was moving earlier in the season, how he played. I'm hoping it's just our stagnation that's probably causing a lot of the issues we've seen lately, and that with some improvement that he'll look a little bit better. Because say what you want, like he's something that we do need. We're a very predictable team, and he's the one guy who kind of demands some attention because you just can't leave him alone. I think that's someone we kind of need in the playoffs.
Yeah, I just need him to be more unpredictable because I feel like we do need predictability, but I feel like he became too predictable because he stopped passing. He's like, oh, he got the ball. I'm not even playing a passing lane. I'm getting the block. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think he needs to be more unpredictable and pass the ball sometimes. That's just me. What you think, Ryan G?
Yeah, I'm pretty much in agreement with you and Fritz. He got a C+ for me.
Wow.
Lee is shocked.
The thing is with Clarkson, it's like for me, he's middling in his grade because I think early in the season, like Fritz mentioned, I do feel like he was in the flow of the offense. Like he was passing more. He wasn't always going. He wasn't always searching for his own shot. He was trying to more assimilate into the offense rather than go off on his own and get his own shot, or whatever the case may be. But I thought as the season went on, he started to go away from the offense as a whole and started to look for his own shot more. And you already know with Jordan Clarkson's shot selection, sometimes it's a good shot, but most of the time it's a bad shot. And when he's not going, when he doesn't have it going, then all of a sudden those bad shots turn into fast break opportunities for the opposing team. And then on top of that, he's not really a great defender as is. Like his defending has been inconsistent all season. So yeah, from Clarkson, we're gonna get those games where he's gonna explode and give the Knicks extra boost to win games. But then on the other side of that, it's like he also has those bad moments as well, where it's like, like what are you doing? Like you're not playing defense, and on top of that, you're throwing up all these shots, and they're not going in, and then they're not even good shots on top of that. So that's why he has a middling grade for me. I do think it's gonna take either an injury or the Knicks doing bad in the game and they need some offensive pop for him to get inserted back into the rotation or get another opportunity, because with the way Shamet is playing defense and the Knicks have a big defensive need at the moment, I can't see him being inserted back into the rotation as long as those guys keep playing D off the bench. But I do think it's going to take like either an injury or a game where the Knicks just need something off the bench and the coach puts them in for him to get playing time. But overall, I think it's a C+. Like he's had his good moments, but he's had his bad moments as well.
Well said. Shoosh. You gonna have me talking about Shamet some more. You bringing up Shamet and his need for defense. Listen, man, the Knicks have needed a point of attack defender. Shamet's been playing so well. You start to think like McCuller is an off-ball defender now, point of attack defender. Like he gets paid like he's paid to be a starter, but like if we need point of attack defense and 3-point shooting, and we don't have a point of attack defender in the starting line right now. it's an uncomfortable conversation, but it's if you take the names off the jersey and look at the skill sets you need, it makes sense. It's the only thing is Shamet doesn't have the physical profile of a guy who you think you want to start, but he has the basketball IQ and the tenacity to be a great point of attack defender, which he's proven to be this year. So I know I went off on the tangent. We was talking about freaking Jordan Clarkson, but
I'm with you, bro. That's why I advocate for him to be the starter last year under Tibbs. I think he should be the starter now under Mike Brown. He can play with any combination of other players. He allows some little on-ball activity, which for Brunson go off, at least bring the ball up. He can do that, right? Or initiate the first action on a ball string. And then he can also guard the opposing point guard. It made sense. He doesn't have any plays ran for him, a little bit of pistol, a little bit of in and out, but he can set strings for guards and have guards set strings for him, and he can come off that and pull up for a jumper. He fits the profile what that starting five needs offensively and defensively. Why not?
Yeah, the only thing I would say McCall might have more of than him that we need is maybe a little bit more ball handling. But 3-point shooting, he got that. Point of attack defense is what we really need. But that's the counter for me in my brain when I'm thinking about the lineups. But yeah, I don't know. Brought it back to Shamet somehow, but we here, damn it.
Yep. That's my guy.
Brought it back to Shamet. Speaking of Shamet and Splash Brothers, all right. This is this 1-2 punch has kind of been one of my favorite duos off the bench. Okay. Because they're almost like little carbon copies of each other. Like undersized point of attack demons who are snipers from the 3-point line. And of course, I already talked about Deuce McBride, but Deuce McBride is doing something that's even crazier where he's shooting like career highs from 3. He is the best 3-point shooter in the NBA, and he might not have the best 3-point percentage in the NBA, but when you take into account his volume, like he's shooting like 10 threes a game sometimes, and he's still hitting over 40% versus somebody who might have a high percentage but shooting like 4 a game. Like I feel like that's best 3-point shooter in the NBA type of numbers. And of course, you know, Steph Curry and I'm not talking about like better than Steph Curry and stuff, but you know what I'm saying. you know what I'm saying. So he's having a career from 3. His pull-up game from the mid-range has been good. The point of fact defense is still as good as ever. He has the best net rating on the team. I already know what grade I'm giving him, but Lee, I'm gonna pass it to you to give the official stats.
Sure. Career high 13 points per game, 2.6 rebounds per game, 2.7 assists per game, 43.6% from the field, and 43% from the 3-point line.
Come on, bro. 46% from the
43%.
Oh, 43%. Oh, it went down because he was 45.
It was, yes.
And there was a lot of people, man. I don't want to say I told you so, but if there's one I told you so, I want to hang my hat on is this one. There was a lot of people who were afraid that Deuce's shooting wasn't real. And I'm like, dude was hurt last season. He was hurt for half the season. Every time he got into a rhythm, he got hurt, had to come back, got hurt, come back, got hurt. I knew last year shooting numbers weren't real because the year before that, he was a sniper. And it came back with a vengeance. So for me, when I'm looking at Deuce McBride, what he's done, once again, exceeded expectations in my eyes. Defensive demon, career high numbers. Also been able to hit big shots in big games. You talk about Jalen Brunson being a clutch shooter. I feel like Deuce McBride has been my second most reliable shooter on the team, with Shamet kind of battling for that title as well. So I'm giving out A's like pancake. I'm giving him an A, man. Like you see the expectations in your role, you get an A. That's how he like. I mean, I feel like if you had a knock on Deuce is that maybe you want more ball handling, and his ball handling has improved. But he's just not ball handling to like a starting point guard type of ball handling. But as far as his role, he's exceeded his role in my opinion. When you have career high numbers, I feel like I have to give you an A.
I'll go next. First of all, I want to recognize my man Wolverine 1986 in the chat going crazy over Mike Brown. Are we officially on a Mike Brown fire watch? And my favorite, this one right here, Fizdale could coach this roster better than Mike Brown. What a disaster. No, that is not my burner.
That's a wild statement, though.
That is a wild statement, man.
Wolverine, you would like I did. I was the only one that did Mike Brown an F as well on our grade, and I said he was a LeBron James of David Fizdale's. So it's funny that you're saying the same thing. I would say he's better than David Fizdale, though. I'm not going to go that low.
That's true. Everything is better than David Fizdale. I'm gonna just say that.
So maybe Derek Fisher.
Facts.
It's pretty close.
Well, with this roster, Knicks would be 500 on the Fizdale.
I think so too.
Yeah, Derek Fisher just steal your girl and still lose, but never mind. Continue.
That is not Fisher's history. That's real. Shout out to Deuce McBride. I'm giving him a B plus. I think Jay Ellis he told no lies in his breakdown and analysis. I'm giving it a little bit lower because the ball handling areas that he's improved. The two I've seen the most is the snake dribble to the mid range to be able to pull up and get a shot. And the second is attacking closeout specifically from the right side. Those two things are like drill induced, where like you're really concentrating on a single or drill to get better at that. But it doesn't mean that you have the overall repetition to be able to create from anywhere. And that also leads to the lack of playmaking. Not just his not being able to create for himself through his dribble, but for others as well. And I think that affects both sides of him offensively. But I do think he can improve. The other knock on him, why I didn't give him an A, is he's struggling finishing at the rim. This has always been, I think, the real knock on him is not that he's not a good shooter. As Jay Ellis, and we had Dope Soul Sports on here, I got into a very heated debate with Jeff Clafter that Deuce is a good shooter. He just had a bad shooting year last year as a movement shooter, but he was over 40% from catch and shoot opportunities, which is actually the majority of his shooting profile last year. This year, it's a little bit mixture of everything. So I think if he gets better, the handle is all of that. The handle is finishing at the rim. The handle is creating for others. And the handle is creating for himself when he's left on the island and has a mismatch. But you're right, brother. But the point of attack defense, consistently fighting through screens, never going under, always going over, being able to contain in segments during his minutes, specifically second and third quarter, where he's really strong at guarding really good shooters on the opposing side at lead guard. Man, he's someone that you just are proud of a Knicks organization.
Yeah.
Walt Perrin, and shout out Scott Perry for scouting Deuce McBride. I believe Scott Perry was still here for Deuce McBride. And really fitting the profile of what you think the Knicks identity is, all the way to the 50s, is someone who can play defense. And my favorite part about Deuce, I'll land it playing here, he can play with three. That is like his ability to guard up and play with three allows for these three rotation lineups that really solidify our 5-out offense. That's really the only time we can do a 5-out is when he's playing small forward. So the ability for him to get a shot off against longer guys like Herb Jones or defend other guys like De'Aaron Fox to Devin Vassell, like, bro, he's indispensable. Did that man the bad, and please retain him.
Yeah, I agree, damn it. What you think, Ryan?
Yes, I had a debate in my mind whether Shamet or Deuce would get the highest mark from me when it comes to the Knicks, and I ended up tying them both. For me, Deuce is an A-. The only reason a player hasn't gotten an A or A+ from me this season is because I feel like nobody's had the perfect season. Even Shamet was injured for a long period of time. If Shamet played consistently every game, I probably would have gave him an A or A+. But with Deuce, it's A-. He's definitely improved this season, especially with his shooting lights out. He's hit a lot of big shots this season in the fourth quarter when the Knicks needed it. His defense is consistent. It's rare you see Deuce slacking on defense. It's very rare. Consistently, he's a great point of attack defender. I think part of the reason why I probably didn't give him an A or A+ is I did want to see a jump from him to where he could actually play the point guard role, but it's still evident that he's still better off ball. The handle isn't all the way there, and the playmaking isn't all the way there as well in the table setting. So that's where I want to see Deuce grow next. I think on the offensive side of the ball, like really get into learning that point guard role and having the handle and the playmaking ability to actually play that role on a consistent basis. But overall, it's hard to complain about Deuce. Deuce has been one of the best players on the Knicks this season, and for that, I think he deserves an A-.
Absolutely. Talk about the best players to me on the Knicks this season. It's probably like not no particular order. It's Deuce, Shamet, Mitch, Brunson are like probably the 4 standout players this season.
Agreed.
And maybe, those I feel like those like the first tier for our guys who performed, and maybe the second tier might be like OG.
Yep.
But yeah, that's how I see it anyway. Go ahead, Fritz.
I do Deuce an A. I think this year he's finally has a real identity on the Knicks. Like we know where he's gonna give like day to day. Like before, like I would see him as like he's a good shooter sometimes. He's a good defender most of the time. Like this one, like he is very consistent. Like we're gonna get from Deuce day in, day out. And he's like a legit shooter, legit defender, brings it every night. So I think finally I'll give him an A.
All right. I think it's your grading system. I feel like we all agree on the sentiment. It's just what we value heavier than others.
We're pretty much all saying the same thing for the most part so far.
Yeah, exactly. This is how we look at it, how we grade the little minutia of what we find important versus not important. And for people who are grading, like, we giving Brunson an A, we giving Coach a C+ or F. We have another mid-season episode that's already up. If you want to go check that out to see what we gave those great guys grades, and was like, I think B was on that one. So if you want to check that out, definitely go check that out. Actually, when this is over, I'll probably just add that link in the comments for the first episode. So if you want to watch the first version of that, okay. All right, up next, this is another curious one too, yo. I'm very curious to see how we grade this one. Tyler Koleck is a guy who the predicate wants to run for president next year. He is tired of Trump. He wants somebody with better hair.
Real hair.
Exactly. So I'm pretty sure predicate is the predicate in our chat. Shout out to the predicate who's always with us. I'm pretty sure the predicate in the chat is going to elect Tyler Koleck. All right, him and Phil. So Koleck, man, after not getting any bird last year, getting put in the back of the bench, gets his shot, and Shamet goes down. And we desperately need some playmaking. Deuce went down for a spell as well. Once again, saved their ass a couple of games. We do not beat the Cavs on Christmas without Tyler Koleck going nuclear from the three-point line. There have been times where we were saying never trade Koleck on this program. There were times we were like, the backup point guard position is locked. No more need to look any further. We got the man we want in the locker room already. We going with Tyler Koleck. But then things started to turn a little bit, and his shooting wasn't as consistent. And his defense wasn't as consistent as well. Like, now he has taken strides defensively. He's better defensively this year than last year, for sure. But like the shooting and the playmaking has kind of tapered off a little bit. Maybe there's just more tape on him. Because that's kind of what happens when you take teams by surprise that first month. Now there's tape on you. They know what to take away. Oh, you like to go left. Oh, you like this 3-point shot in this place. So maybe he just needs to start to get those counters together because there's more tape on him. But nonetheless, really curious to see how he's graded and what his stats are this year. So let me know, Lee, what was his stats this year?
Tyler Koleck's stats this season: 4.9 points per game, 1.9 rebound per game, 2.7 assists per game, 43% from the field, and 33% from three.
Okay. This one is tough for me. I'm not gonna hold you because I'm not gonna lie. There was a time where I'm like, yo, don't trade Koleck. there's definitely a time where I'm just like, we need his playmaking. I've trusted Tyler Koleck to close games more because we just needed more playmaking. Even sometimes when I saw Deuce with Brunson, I'm like, I think I want to see Ty with Brunson because when they double Brunson, I want somebody who can handle the ball. And Deuce hasn't been the guy who can handle the ball all the time. With that being said, the fall off has been kind of bad. So I feel like in my mind, I've been battling between a B- and a C+. I've been battling my mind between those two grades. And I'm trying to figure out how much benefit of the doubt I'm getting him. I still haven't decided, and that's why I'm still talking. And I'm going to give I'm going to give him. Maybe I woke up on the good side of the bed today. I'm gonna give him a B-. I'm going to give him a B- only because this is kind of, I almost feel like this is his real rookie season, and he saved us a few games. And even though he's been inconsistent, it's like a month sample size, really. So it's really hard to it's hard to evaluate because it's been a month. And because he saved us for a few games and he hasn't been shooting well recently, in this slump, I feel like I'm gonna give him a little bit more of the benefit of the doubt and give him a B-. If you disagree with me, I don't even hold you. I feel like it's go either way to me. What do you think, Lee?
I'm giving him a C+ for this season, and I agree with your assessment more than I do some of the super fans like the predicate, and especially disagree with Phil to say never trade someone. They better prove it to be never tradable. You can't say that about someone who's not in the rotation. So to me, that's like way off base. But I love my man Phil, and I like Koleck too. He's a dog. I like the confidence I have in him to close a game on the offensive side of the ball. He typically makes the right play more than most. I think the only players who make the right play more than him is Bridges and Brunson are the two that I would put before him. He's a very smart, high IQ kid. He just has his limitations physically. Very interesting point you brought up about the tape. There's so much more tape of him against NBA level talent within a system now if the Knicks are employing. I think this is a year that some of that's caught up to him. When he's not hitting his three, he can't score because they've gotten to the point to where the little counter bag that he's learned from Jalen Brunson has been suppressed, and the opportunities around the rim aren't there like they were last season. And on defense, this is not all his fault, but he has to be held accountable to some degree. He cannot share the floor with Karl-Anthony Towns. You can't have every minute that Towns is on the floor be shared with a horrible point guard and a horribly compromised defensive point guard at the one. You can't do it. So I don't think there's a future for him on this team as long as Towns is a starting center or as long as Brunson is a starting point guard, because you're pairing him or swapping him for someone who also is such a critical component defensively. Overall, C+. I think on another team, in Orlando or Phoenix, a really high defensive team, I think he could be a very competent backup point guard.
I feel like there could be a future for him. It just depends on how, because it depends on the offensive side of the ball. Because he has a ceiling defensively, for sure. But I do feel like when he was effective, setting up people and hitting his shots, he was passable defensively, and it was like, okay, we can win this way. He's passable defensively. He's hitting threes. I felt like that stint when he was affecting the wins, like he was effective. So I do feel like there's a chance. I'm not saying it's a done deal. Like he could be traded, but I do feel like there's a chance. The thing I would say for him to work on is the floater. The floater game is the biggest thing, because what's happening is they're running him off the 3-point line, and they know he can finish at the rim, and they just keep leaving him open in that mid-range area, and this floater isn't consistent yet. So I do feel like if he comes back next year, if he's not traded, and he just works on the three and the floater, then he'll be fine. Because now when he run off the 3-point line, he just dribble, float, and you already know he's. I think he's like hot. I think there was a point in the season where he was like finishing extremely high at the rim. Let me go actually.
I would love to
numbers.
know his numbers.
Hold on, let me check right now.
Because my eye test feels like he's not good around the rim.
Oh, okay, it's went down. It's definitely okay. He's average. Before there was a time where he was Giannis numbers at one point at the rim. There was a time where he was like him and Giannis was was at the top of the league at finishing at the rim, but that has
Yeah, he was like 62% or something.
but that has since gone down. That's just go down, and he's now middle of the pack. He's like 53rd percentile, which is pretty much middle of the pack.
Again, the tape, as you mentioned.
But like mid range, he's been shooting good in the long mid range, but he has not been shooting good from three, at all. But the corner three, he's shooting 44% from the corner three. So, interesting. All right. Sorry, guys. I know you want to talk. Go ahead, Fritz. I want to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, I would give him an A-. I'm gonna probably give him a much higher grade than other people. I think he's he's a good player on the wrong team. I think from where he started this season, to people questioning if he was an NBA player, to actually proving he does belong in the NBA, to someone I don't have a doubt will have a second contract in the NBA. I think it comes down to what is his fit on this team, and if he can fit on this team. If he's not going to fit on this team, he's going to fit somewhere else. The things I think he needs to work on, he is vulnerable to be trapped. For a point guard, that's not good. Outside of that, I think from where he started, you have to give him an A for this season, for where he started this season.
Woo! I would never thought somebody was going to get A. I never thought A. And speaking of trapped, he is tough mentally, but he still has some toughness. The times where I saw him falter were the two biggest times I seen him falter when we were playing. I think the Phoenix Suns punked him a little bit. I still remember that third quarter when we let go of the rope. It was him and Jordan Clarkson got punked a little bit. He wasn't able to get the ball. Was coughing the ball over, and it was another game I can't remember. But he's a tough kid, but he still has to learn how to handle physicality full time and still be able to run point. My bad. I mean, go ahead, Ryan G.
All right. Well, I'm definitely not going to give him an A's, but but Tyler Koleck for me is a B-. And with Koleck, the reason why I give him a B- is I have to give him some credit just for the simple fact that I don't think any of us had Koleck in the rotation.
Right.
Throughout the season, we thought that he was going to be an end of a bench guy, some G League minutes, whatever the case may be. And the fact that, and I think what opened my eyes about Koleck was when Brogdon went down and said he was going to retire, and that backup point got some ball was open, and the way he stepped up in that preseason game to kind of, bring attention to him, like, what, maybe he is capable of playing that backup point guard role. I think that's when my eyes started opening up with Koleck, and during the season, he's had his moments. I think the one that stood out to me the most was the NBA Cup game. His performance in that game was pretty good. It was exceptional, and I think that there's big game performances in Koleck. I do think he has the confidence to perform in big games, and the only thing that's limiting him from getting playing time at the moment is his defense, clearly, because that's the biggest need for the Knicks at the moment. And also, it did seem like teams are starting to figure him out, and he became less effective coming off the bench. I do think Koleck has a future with the team. I do think it's going to depend on roster construction going forward, whether, his future is going to be with the Knicks or not. But I think overall, good playmaking ability, good IQ. He makes the right pass most of the time. If he can just improve his jump shot, his three-point shooting, and like JL has said, his floater game, I think that'll just take his game to a next level. But for me, I think Koleck exceeded expectations. He just needs to get better at certain aspects of his game. That's why I give him a B-.
I'm still rolled. The A was crazy. I ain't think I knew there was gonna be some. I knew this. I was like, I don't know how people. He didn't even say a B+. He said an A. Okay,
That's a bold take.
that's a bold take. My man is shooting 32% from three. Okay,
I agrees with you, Fritz. Get those 4 picks back.
Yeah. Get those picks back, damn it. Raise his stock. KOT gets him an A. All right. All right. Yo, salute to the chat too, man. Shout out to people who rock with the KOT show. We talking about this is the mid-season review. We talking about the Knicks bench. If you want to hear the mid-season review about the Knicks starters, that is up as well. We just have to go back and watch it. But shout out to everybody in the chat. Predicate, Purser. I can't read your name, sir. I'm trying. I don't know what Wolverine. Random 1973.
Hey.
Bonnerly. You need like a hyphen, a space.
Yeah, I mean that dude's name is gibberish, so you might as well just say gibberish.
Yeah. You need one of those like you know when the sound when dictionary when you want to sound something out and you have it in little parentheses. Yeah, you need something, bro. Because I don't know what the hell I said. But welcome.
That's funny.
Oh man, but welcome to the KOT show, man. If you like this show, hit the like, hit subscribe. We have to have a game talking Knicks basketball, having that deep Knicks talking. So be here, be square. Tomorrow we play. Who we play tomorrow?
Sacramento
Kings.
Oh, looking for revenge tomorrow. So
yeah, they better smack my 10 plus points, 10 or more points. No excuse.
Yeah. Hey, Knicks. I have advice for you. Let Precious Achua shoot threes. Let him. Give him the Josh Hart treatment. We win the game.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all you gotta do. All right. Next up, we kind of bunched these players up. We just call these Knicks kids, all right? We got Diawar. We got who the kids again? We got we got Diawar, we got Hukporti, and we got Dadier.
McCuller. McCuller.
And McCuller. That's right. And McCuller. The Knicks kids group. All of them have kind of shown flashes. All of them have kind of played spot minutes. All of them have been effective in small roles. Shoot, almost Max. Now I think about it, I almost want to put Dadier. I almost want to put McCuller, Hukporti, and Diawar in one box and Dadier in another box. Now that I think about it, because you know when you have a group project and you're like, yeah, okay, I'm pulling my weight, and then this one is not doing nothing.
Daddy.
Yeah, I feel like when you look at McCuller and you look at like Hukporti, you look at Diawar in their spot minutes, all of them had kind of like glimpses of something, you know, like McCuller made a big stop one game in the fourth quarter that won us a game, and he's been like a good point of attack defender and hitting like clutch threes against maybe the Hawks. Hukporti did a good job when Mitch and Cat got in foul trouble the other game and got us some blocks and guarded Joel Embiid. Diawara had like an 18-point game. You know, he's also had games where he shot abysmal, but he had an 18-point game. He had a game where he had like a one-handed pass and whipped it across to the other side of the court for three. So they all of them have moments, but inconsistent. So I'm really curious to see how you're going to grade that group. And I'm going to say Dottie is going to be his own separate group. I'm sorry. So Lee, what do you think? What do you give those players?
This was the toughest grade, actually. Taking out Dottie changes it. Actually, obviously, it raises it.
Yeah.
I'm going to say overall a C. I kind of want to is between a C and a C minus. Because McCuller of the three has been the most disappointing. McCuller feels like there's not a role for him going forward, like I feel like there is for Huck, and even more so for Diawara. McCuller's like he's the most unknown in terms of how I not just how I feel about it, but where does he fit in the rotation? Is he going to be used as a three, small ball four, a three? Because he doesn't really have consistently, from what I've seen, the handle or the shot or the athleticism to play specifically one position. The three-point shooting this year has actually been the most impressive. He's shooting 43%, very low attempts. So what does that really mean? You know, it's hard to say. But Of those three, I think Diawar has a future. Diawar to thrive on any NBA team. There are lots of upside. The handle looks sharp. He seems to have spots on the floor where he already looks like he's ready to go as a rotation player, right from the corners, even attacking closeouts. I would say from the right side, he showed promise there with a handle and a passing ability. A little bit in the short row too. We haven't seen too many opportunities for him to be in pick and roll action, but I do remember one or two instances that I saw as part of highlight packages where I was like, hey, he had some decision making chops as well. But overall, there's ceiling, but will it ever be met? Probably not. I'm not really sure if Hukporti and McCuller are even on the roster next year, or if they're used as filler or to a third team in a Giannis trade. Who knows? But overall, I'm going to give him a C just for the moments we've seen from Diawara and Hukporti as rotation people.
This is tough. Shout out to Phil in chat. Do I feel good about these guys, bad about these guys, and different about these guys? First of all, McCuller, actually, I'm going to take a page out of Fritz's book when it comes to McCuller. I don't think I'm disappointed in him per se. It's just that because we have so many players here, he doesn't have a clear role and a clear path to success on this team in particular. And he might not have a future in the NBA just because of fit and size and stuff like that. But the fact that he affected winning in limited minutes for at least one game, for sure.
Antonio.
Was it the San Antonio game, and maybe was it the Hawks game? Because there was a game with the Hawks where he was the first guy off the bench.
I remember that.
So it's like this. I can't say he was like ineffective per se. I feel like in his limited opportunities, he flashed certain things. 3-point shooting, defense, point of attack has been consistent. And like caused a jump ball at the end of one game to help us win the game. So I can't say I'm disappointed in him. It's just that our team we have a lot of talent here. So it's gonna be hard for him to get minutes. Diawara, he's flashed a lot of potential defensively. He's flashed some 3-point shooting. He just still hasn't been consistent all the way. Like even if you look at the raw numbers, his 3-point shooting has been good overall, but like for games, there's been good. There's been games where he shot like 100% from three or close. So he's flashed things. And when it comes to Eric Hukporti, like it's this, I feel like Eric Hukporti has regressed offensively. I feel like offense was his strength when he was here. And he was able to get to that floater and finish at the rim a lot. And this year, he's kind of regressed there, but like his defense went up a little bit. So this is, I'm gonna give them. I'm not as disappointed as Lee is. I feel like I'm gonna give him a B- because it's like, what did you do with your limited amount of time? And a lot of these guys, this is their first real NBA minutes. I think everybody we kind of listed has been their first real NBA minutes. And they had flashes, but like I guess I don't really expect much from them, really. So what they give me, I'm just like, okay, cool, they got me. So I think I'm gonna give them a B-. If you disagree with me, I don't really blame you because they didn't show much. I think this is why it's so hard to grade this group in particular. But yeah, what you thinking, Ryan?
I think for me overall, I give him a C+. McCuller, didn't see a lot of him this season. I do think he defended well at times when given playing time. Still need to work on his 3-point shot. I don't know if there's a future for him within the team based on how the roster is currently constructed. So I'm not sure if I see him with the Knicks going into the future, but I do feel like he showed a couple of flashes when he played. Diawara out of the three is probably the most impressive to me. I do feel like he has a future with the Knicks because I feel like the Knicks haven't filled that backup wing role when OG and Bridges has to go to the bench. Like the Knicks don't really have a backup wing, and if Diawara can improve I feel like that position is his. You know,
Yeah.
coming off the bench, you know, he definitely has an avenue into the rotation.
We hope.
Diawara, he's had a good game, 18 points. At times he struggled to with the shooting and offensively. At first he seemed lost a lot of times. But as the season went on, he got more playing time. It seemed like he was getting more comfortable. The thing is, the minutes are scarce, so you're not going to get consistent, you know, performances out of Diawara and Hukporti. I like his activity on defense. I feel like defensively, he's been pretty solid. Offensively, I do think he does need to improve his floater or that little hook shot he has around the basket. I do feel like he needs to improve that, but I feel like he's shown good flashes as well. So overall, I give them a C plus. You can't really be disappointed at what you've seen because of the lack of playing time.
Okay. What you got, Fritz?
I give him a C. I don't think it's a hot take, but I don't think two of these players will be here in a couple months. And I think McCuller will be cut. I think Diawara may not make it past the trade deadline.
Oh, we didn't even get the Diawara. That's a separate.
but yeah, McCuller, and it's not really his fault. Is that we made him a 2A last year when he was hurt, and this is his second year as a 2A, so he can't be a 2A anymore. So he's either you give him an NBA contract or he has to move on. So he's in that he's in that Toppin territory.
Oof.
Where last year we let Toppin go and he went to Atlanta. So yeah, I think we're kind of there with him. I give him a C because I give this group a C. I think Diawara from undrafted to at times looks like a future rotation player is amazing. I think we have one there, and that's one player you have to protect. But I give overall C. Become Diawara.
That's separate. Man, go ahead. What's Diawara's grade? Go ahead, man. You start it off. Just start it off.
Diawara is a D. Actually, my problem with Diawara is I don't see the aggressiveness. I can deal with bad shooting, but I can't deal with like someone who doesn't even look like he's in the frame of mind to do what he needs to do. So he's I think in real danger of not being here.
He's a D.
D.
I might give him an F. I ain't gonna hold
That's
you.
That's an F. Get the F out of town.
Like he hasn't shown any improvement from last year. And like at the beginning of the season, the coach screamed at him because he wasn't hustling back. Or he wasn't like being active. He's like, he said he could be good, but he has to use his frame. And then it's like he's tentative as all hell. Yeah, you're doing great in the G League, but whenever you get your chance, Diawara's outshining you, McCuller's outshining you, and this is your second year here. I feel like you have not met expectations, and you haven't even been at that level. Like, so he's an F to me, man. I don't even, D minus at best, but I can't even, for me to even give him a D minus, I have to like point out a game that I said, okay, he was effective here a little bit, and I can't think of one. I can't think of a game where he was like, he's been effective in these minutes. Even garbage time, which is rough. I'm giving an F. I don't know. What you think, Ryan?
I'm going to give him a D minus. And the only reason I'm going to give him a D minus is because I'm being nice to him because in my opinion, only one player deserves an F. And you already know who's that reserved for. So that's the only reason why I'm giving him a D minus, because I feel like only one player deserves the F, and you already know who that is.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, for me, he's a D minus. He hasn't shown me anything this season. Nothing offensively, nothing defensively, nothing I can hang my hat on and be like, you know what, he's improved in this area. I can see a future with him where he'll be a better offensive player or he'll be a better defensive player. Like, I really can't say anything about his game at the moment. Every time he's come on the court, he's shown me nothing. Yeah. So at that point, it's like, oh, he's in trade talks. Yeah, please trade him away. At this point, I trade him away for a bag of chips. Honestly, to me, I don't see a future with him on this roster. So yeah, D-.
So just in case you're wondering, Ryan G gave him a D- out of pity and dramatic effect. All right,
pretty much.
Go ahead, Lee.
Oh, okay.
Oh, go wait. You want to say something?
No,
I already know Lee's gonna go off. That's what I'm saying. Go ahead when you say it.
I think what makes it so disappointing, I think it's the effort that makes me so disappointed.
Yes.
Him. Like, I think when Deuce came onto the Knicks, he was not hitting anything. Like, nope. Deuce was not hitting anything, but the effort was always there. And that's what you always admire was Deuce's effort. And in year 1, year 2, he's like, nah, he's not getting it, but eventually those shots will fall. And for someone who's a shooter, you can't say, we're not even talking about shooting. The effort isn't there. And that's what makes it so bad.
Kevin Knox mixed with Frank Ntilikina. That's what I see.
Yeah.
That's what I see. I see Kevin Knox. If Kevin Knox and Frank Ntilikina had a baby, I'm not even going to say Frank Ntilikina because
that's what I'm saying. Frank Ntilikina wasn't this bad.
At least he played
this bad.
I'm saying Frank Ntilikina, as far as his tentativeness on offense, he's Frank Ntilikina, and he's Kevin Knox as far as his passiveness on defense and his lack of physicality and his low motor. Go ahead, Lee.
Yeah, I'm not going to be too harsh because he doesn't make me angry. I'm actually angry at the person that drafted him that I am him, because he's been such a wash. He came in player profile 3 and D. He's 0% from 3, and he's got a negative defensive box plus minus for his 2 seasons in the NBA. So he is neither of the 2 things that he was said to be, and all the things that he wasn't said to be. He's been absolute dog shit. Like he's been awful. He's the only kid that shows no promise. It's hard not to show any promise, but promise usually is intertwined with effort. And if you don't show effort, how the hell can you show promise? So yeah, I agree, man. He's an F- for me. I don't think he makes it even to the summer. I also agree with Fritz. I think him and McCuller don't make it past the summer. Even Hukporti could be in the package for a trade, but 22% from the field for Pacome Dadier. I mean, bro, if you look at his advanced stats, you might think you looked at the worst player in the NBA. He looks at the type of player on NBA 2K when you fill out all the physical profiles and you don't touch any of the other skill. He has like no skill, but he looks at an NBA basketball player. The moment he gets to the floor, you're like, whoa, not ready. Like, this doesn't look like he's ready for the moment. The lights are too bright.
Lights are too bright is probably the best way to describe him. This is like the lights are just always on. For sure. This is gonna be a short conversation. F. F. My man came in overweight from the start.
Oh, we talking about Yabu.
Oh yeah, we talking about Yabu. Yabusele came here overweight from the start, and I think that is where the problem started. You can't come in to a team overweight with a new team being overweight, thinking you're going to be in his good graces, and especially it's not smart considering you have like a player option. Maybe he's thinking he has a player option, so he has one more chance because he has a player option and not a team option. And but the fact that he came into this team who is primed to go for a championship overweight, like, you should be coming in the best shape of your life. You already know you're coming to a New York team with the spotlight on them, and you chose to kind of blow that already from the jump. Not to mention the 3-point shots in there, the defense has been there. He's been slow. He's been lethargic. So I have nothing else to say. I think everybody else is going to say probably even more than me. If you want to give the numbers, you can, but I'm not even sure if it's worth reading the numbers. It's an F from Yabusele.
Well, let me read the numbers just so it really gives more context to why I'm about to go ham on them. Yabusele, 2.8 points per game, 2.1 rebounds per game, half an assist per game, 39% from the field, and 30.8% from a 3-point line. it's an F minus for sure. It's harsher, and I'm going to be a little bit harsher than Pacome because his fat ass made me look like a dumbass, and that's I feel embarrassed because what did I do on the show? I was like, y'all, there's a name here. It's going to surprise you, Dursan Yabusele. We got him. And I was like, oh shit, man! Dursan Rosas, call me up, man. Let me be your mini me. And then now he's making me look like I got no eye for talent because he came into shape lazy, ineffective. I think a bit arrogant at thinking that he could play himself into shape with a coach that's like brand new with the team and a bunch of players he's never played with before. Like he was the prize of the offseason. He was a guy that ostensibly took a discount because he had other suitors and was profiled. We finally got our backup wing. We got someone that's an upgrade from Precious Achiuwa, and he's 3 times the size of Precious Achiuwa, but he's not 3 times better, and he's still than Precious Achiuwa. I actually miss Precious Achiuwa this season because at least he gave effort and he played hard. Dursan Yabusele, man, you can't make a dent on the floor when you can't even make it up the court in any type of transition game. Right? He just looks like BBL City, man. I mean, it's like I look at him and I feel like I'm watching myself out there on the court, and I don't ever want to do that because I know I'm watching a bad brand of basketball. So it's F minus in all caps. I'm a little worried. How do we move him? Because the value is so sunk. I don't think we should attach any. The same way I feel about not attaching picks for Alvarado, it's even worse if you attach picks to Yabusele. That is an absolute slap to Leon. Leon should slap himself if he has to attach picks to offload because you're the one that gave him a player option for that second deal. So I don't know what you do with him. I don't know how you get rid of him. You hope that he's like a consolation prize for a third team in a Giannis deal.
The fact that he had to work his way back into the NBA after playing overseas only to come to this team overweight freaking baffles me.
Yeah.
That says a lot. That says a lot about your psychology, yo. I'm not gonna hold you. You fought your way back to the NBA. You would think you'd be hungry.
Well,
he's hungry another way.
So it's like he has nothing. It's his own damn. It's his own damn fault.
It is.
It's his own damn fault. Yeah. What you got for it, man?
I gotta give him an F. You gotta give him an F. I'm a big guy. Like, it's tough, but the attitude bothers me. Like, the attitude really bothers me. Like, he had a great summer, like, in the international play, and then he came to the Knicks. Everybody said, "Hey, he looks overweight," and I'm like, "Is it? Is my eyes deceiving me?" Came in overweight. Everybody's criticizing your play, rightfully so. And every time you're asked about it, you're kind of dismissive. Like I haven't seen an effort to get better. Like, hey, I'm working on this or whatever. He said, hey, I'm a good player. And all I kind of see kind of him like not being apologetic, like coming in overweight. You're putting this on your coworkers. You're putting this on your teammates. You are bringing the team down. You're supposed to be adding to the team. So, like, for him to come down, he should be apologetic. Like, that really bothered me. Like, he made no effort to like improve or see anything wrong of how he like came in or how he's playing.
I agree, man. Go ahead, Ryan.
Yeah, so before I say my grade, which everybody knows what the grade's gonna be ahead of time. Pressure. We do see some good things about the Knicks. You probably missed the early part of the show where we gave away good grades to a good amount of players on the bench. So
yeah. You a lot of A's.
Rewatch the show after it's done, and you'll see the good grades that we did give out earlier in the show. Now, getting back to Yabusele. Yeah, this is a no-brainer for me. F minus. It's as simple as that. F with an infinity amount of minuses at the end of it.
Yeah.
You guys pretty much said what it was with Yabusele. I was expecting way more from him. Last season he had a good season with the Sixers, and I thought that he would have brought some of that play to the Knicks. Came to camp overweight. He looked more like a defensive lineman than a basketball player coming into camp, and it was just downhill from there. He wasn't giving us the minutes that we thought he would give. He severely underplayed what we expected him to be. It's really self-explanatory. I don't really think I gotta say a lot about Yabusele to explain why I give him an F-.
F- for Yabusele, man. That was a waste of time. A waste of.
But he was supposed to be the equivalent of Deuce, like not a starter, but
Fringe
kind of almost playing starter minutes.
Yeah,
he should feel like he owes the team something. And just the fact that like it doesn't seem like he thinks he owes the team anything bothers me a lot.
Yeah, I agree, yo. It's annoying. He just walks in here, was like, all right, give me the A. Like, bro, you gotta work, man. Get to work. And especially all the stigma that's going on with the French players here. For you to like come over here and lay an egg is wild. You let France down, bro. I'm just telling you. Yeah.
It's also infuriating that he fits. If we all just wrote down physical traits or skill traits that we wanted in a backup wing, he checked all boxes. If you think about it, he's the type of guy that we saw for years on Toronto or San Antonio or Miami. It's like these big wings that can shoot threes, handle the ball a little bit. That's him. I thought he could come in and be all of those things, and that's what makes him so frustrating. He's not just undersized 5 or Taj Gibson or Koleck. Say, bro, he is what the NBA is moving toward, and he showed so much leadership in the world games. It's like, what the hell happened?
I don't know, man. Disappointing, but definitely an F all across the board. Well, which kind of leads me to the last person we're gonna talk about today. This is going to be an interesting conversation. The Don Leon Rose. What do we give him? This is going to be interesting because of perception from the beginning of the year to the end of the year. This is why this conversation is kind of not the end of the year now, midseason. This is why this conversation is interesting because the season starts. We get rid of campaign. I don't think anybody was particularly devastated by that. There was like campaign was cool for us for what he was, but like we understood. Dylan Wright left, went to Indiana. Like we appreciated Dylan Wright. We thought maybe he could come back, but we needed. Everybody agreed that the Knicks needed more scoring off the bench, especially considering what happened last year during the playoffs, where Brunson got blitzed. And we had no scoring off the bench. So then what happens? He goes out, he gets Jordan Clarkson, who has been a 6th man of the year before, considered a sniper, a bucket getter, a guy who you want off your bench, who everybody in the NBA thought like this is a great move. Same thing goes for Yabusele, coming off a great season with the 76ers. We get him for like kind of a legit discount, and our offseason was success. In our eyes, then we bring on Malcolm Brogdon, a guy who I always felt like in his prime was definitely probably the best compliment to Jalen Brunson I can think of. Coming off your bench, because remember Malcolm Brogdon was able to shoot threes. He's also able to play make, and he's also able to defend. So when you're like, hey, well, we need a ball handler next to Jalen Brunson who can defend and shoot threes, that is freaking Malcolm Brogdon to the T. So you go into the offseason feeling good about all these offseason moves. And then at the end of everything, we signed Shamet. Fast forward to now, Malcolm Brogdon's retired. Jordan Clarkson is DNP'd. Yabusele is in trade rumors. And the last guy that we signed at the end of the year in Shamet has become the most important signing out of all of those guys. Distinguished panel, how the hell do you even grade this?
I do have a question though. Are we grading Leon Rose just for this season, or is it an overall grade? Just
this season. It's
Okay.
just this season. Just this season.
Who wants to go first?
This is tough, man. I'm still trying to figure out what I'm gonna grade him. If I'm being real, it seemed like a great move in the beginning of the season, but the way it's played out, we have to get rid of an asset that it is now a negative asset. So it's like I feel like if I break it down asset for asset, and I'm literally thinking through this thing live with you guys. We got one negative asset in Yabusele, one positive asset in Shamet, and one neutral asset. I guess is the way I see it. So if I break it down to that, where there's one positive, one negative, and one neutral, to me, that's average. Because that means you didn't move the needle really. Like you got one positive, one negative, and one neutral. So to me, that's a C. That's the best way. That's the best way I can rationalize it. I'm giving Leon Rose a C for this season.
Okay, I'll go next. Having some time to think about it, I think I'm going to give Leon a C-. And I do think during his tenure with the Knicks, this year has probably been his worst year when it came to making moves. Although, yes, I know that Cat and Bridges was part of the team that got the Knicks to the Eastern Conference Finals last season, but now this season, with the way both of them are playing, it's making those trades look questionable as well. But I feel like overall, Leon Rose has done a good job since he's been with the Knicks. I just think as of late, he's been making some questionable moves. And at first, I did think Jordan Clarkson was a good move. I did think Yabusele was a good move. And I did think Shamet was a good move. I didn't really have an issue with the signings that Leon Rose made over the summer. I think what drops his grade to a C- is the results, really, because Shamet is the only one that's really performing above his level. Yabusele, big F. So I have to factor that as well, which is why his grade dropped so low with me. It's really because of Yabusele himself, because even Clarkson, I'm not too mad at that move, because although Clarkson has been getting DMPs as of late, I do feel like Clarkson has stepped up in games this season and have helped the Knicks win some games this season. So I have to give him credit for that, although Clarkson's getting some DMPs. But yeah, it's really the Yabusele move that really dropped his grade for me, or I think I would have gave Leon a higher grade. So for me, looking at everything overall, I give him a C-.
Yeah, giving Yabusele a player option. Ooh. That might actually, Landry, that might be the minus right there.
Yeah.
Giving Yabusele a player option screwed us. I'm sorry, go ahead. Who wants to go?
I will give him. I will give him a D, unless in the next couple of weeks he could change his grade around.
This is mid-season. If you end the season strong and those guys,
or even a good deadline, because I think he's kind of a victim of his success. Where right now he's taking a lot less risks, and he's low hanging fruit. That's basically he's been doing the obvious moves. But I don't think any of these moves we've seen in the last year are anything that would help us long term. So like this year, he brought in two guys who could help us this season, but like not anything who's going to stick on this team long term. Even in the draft, I thought they were, if he took a little bit of risks and moved up like 10 spots, there were players available who could have been like long-term Knicks who would have been good ads for this team. But I think he's kind of in the spot where he can't mess up, and analysis paralysis kind of.
Where if you move up,
you're not going to take a
question first though. If you move up 10 spots, and doesn't that mean we have to pay them more? And considering the cap that we have, will we be able to afford somebody 10 spots higher? I'm not sure if we would be able to.
We could have.
Okay.
We could have. There are players who are, but I'm hoping at the trade deadline he does something to add to this team long term instead of just adding players who are going to help for the moment.
Interesting take. I like that take. All right, go ahead, Lee.
F. This
I had a feeling.
Mid trade now. This will not hopefully, and I'm going to bet this will not be what I grade him at the end of the season. But if I'm going to give Mike Brown an F, I have to give an F to the man that hired him as well, which is Leon Rose. And I put more weight on the coaching hire and the coaching staff hires and rehires. I don't know if y'all don't disagree with me, but I don't think Rick Brunson should have been brought back. They should have fired his gremlin ass and bring in someone who can actually be a replacement if someone was fired. We still don't have a replacement on this roster if Mike Brown is let go. That is a mistake, because that's a mistake you've been doing now for almost 4 seasons in a row. To me, that's unacceptable to not have a protege on the bench that can take over and then allow your one protege, Johnny Bryant, to leave. Then you bring back Rick Brunson's dumbass, and then you hire an absolute bum in Brendan O'Connor, who builds an absolute atrocious defense that our players can't even fit into. Our best players don't even recognize or be able to implement into their game. You got Yabu having to learn the 4-5, which affected his progress. Cat having to learn the 4-5, which affected his progress. And you don't address the elephant in the room, which is that Jalen Brunson, in my opinion, Karl-Anthony Towns cannot win a championship. Not because he can't fit offensively, which is also an issue too, but defensively, I don't believe you can win a chip with him at the 1 and the other at the 5. To not address that, not bring in a different center and move Cat primarily to the 4, or bring in a real power forward to play next to Cat at the 5. To me, that mid-stand with Yabusele being an absolute bust as your best pickup in the summer, Jordan Clarkson being a D&P right now, and none of your young kids being in the rotation, that's damning. Like, to me, he's been an absolute F. I hope he turns it around. But to me, it's like I'm starting to save. When I see a Leon meme or a picture of someone who looks like Leon, I'm starting to save it for the future memes I'm going to make and drop on Twitter. Because I've been really embarrassed that you're in year 2 of a championship year, and this is who you choose a coach. That's a lateral move, in my opinion. That's not an upgrade over Tibbs, but you call him one. That's either deception or incompetence, or maybe a combination of both.
I think the end of the year is going to be telling, because it's going to tell a lot, because I think everybody here was kind of iffy on Mike Brown at first and talked ourselves into it. We went to a 10-game losing streak, we went to like a losing streak, not a 10-game losing streak, but we went to a losing streak where we lost like a bunch of games in like a 10-game span. Defensively, I feel like is where I felt like we've fallen the most. But I'm really curious to see how this team responds to Mike Brown when it comes to the end of the season. Because like I said before, watched a lot of basketball, and we'll see if this happens. But I'm going to see if this is like history repeating itself at some point, because there was a point in time where we thought Tibbs was about to be fired when he lost to the Dallas game in horrendous fashion. We lost to Dallas in horrendous fashion. Right after that, Tibbs shortened his rotation, bench campaign. Now what happens? Mike Brown shortens his rotation
after Dallas and
benches Jordan Clarkson. So although we are super emotional about how we lost the game and like how our team has been playing, I'm really curious to see if this type of pressure forces the team to kind of really take to what Mike Brown has been telling them, and really forces Mike Brown to play who he wants to play and not who the front office wants him to play. Because I do feel like he is a defense guy, but we have these new signings in Clarkson and Yabusele, so he's trying to involve everybody and and then when his feet is held to the fire, he said, "Screw that, I'm playing Shamet." It seems very reminiscent of when Tibbs went on that run. But I'm gonna wait and see what happens because it could be the thing that turns us around. I'm not saying it's going to happen and we will turn it around, but there's a lot of similarities. So I'm curious to see how this goes forward.
Well said. Very well said.
Yeah, definitely. And I just want to throw something in there right quick as well. Although the team went on that bad run and it seems like at the moment they're turning it around, the reason why I still have faith in this roster is because I still remember last season I wasn't too high on the team as a whole based on their regular season because I saw that when they went up against the best teams in the East, they were always losing, losing 4 to the Celtics, losing 4 to the Cavaliers, Pistons taking 3 or 4 from the Knicks last season. And I wasn't too high on this team going into the playoffs, but in the playoffs, they proved me wrong and they stepped it up a notch and became tougher in the playoffs and got to the Eastern Conference Finals. I get it that the Knicks did have some personalities on the bench, like a PJ Tucker that, had that tough mentality, and maybe he instilled some of that toughness into the team last season. But at the same time, this roster is pretty much the same outside of a few additions. So I would think that these players, although that voice is not there on the bench, they know what it takes when the playoffs come. And I still hold that hope that when the playoffs come, they're going to turn it up a notch the same way and do what they have to do in the playoffs. And that's why I still have hope for this team going forward.
Yeah. Good points. I'm curious, man. I'm curious to see what's going to happen. Next game is on the Sacramento Kings. I'm hoping our team got their ass kicked enough where they get their head out their ass and actually play some damn defense consistently. 2 games so far where they seemed like very consistent was make it 3.
I had a hot take on. I think if Mike Brown doesn't make the ECF, he needs to be fired immediately. Like if we fail to make the Eastern Conference Finals, he should be fired. And I think that if we don't make the finals, I think Dolan's going to fire him because Dolan said on the FAN interview that the minimum expectation is that we make the finals, and then he said, "And we win." If we don't make the finals in this year, then he's like, "You're not better than Tibbs," in his opinion. And I think we should not wait out. Right, where it's like, oh, let's try year 2, year 3. Oh, hell no. If he doesn't make the ECF, fire his ass and go hire someone who's not a baby boomer who can actually bring in some new ideas and actually have a coach next to him who can take over and let's go a different direction completely.
I'll wholeheartedly agree. If he doesn't get the Knicks back to at least Eastern Conference Finals, he does deserve to go. He shouldn't get a second season after that.
100%.
Yeah. I agree with the logic and the sentiment. I'm indifferent about I think I'm always indifferent about changing direction so quickly without a plan. I think that's what it is. Like the same reason why I was just like, okay, Kid Tibbs isn't the guy, but who's the next guy? And then we get Mike Brown. And it's like, okay, we just got this. Okay, well now let's go. It's like I hate making I understand the sentiment completely and the logic of it, right? We've got him here to be in the finals. So if we don't make the ECF, you should fire him. I don't necessarily disagree with it. I just hate it's like, who do we get? Are we firing for another lateral move if it comes to that? You know what I'm saying? Like, who do we get?
I don't know. Maybe keep Steve Kerr's available this summer. Like people are thinking.
Well, listen, that changes everything. All right, that changes everything. Oh man, but
I want to respond to this comment here. Why is Rick Brunson dumb? This dude thinks he's too smart for me. Apologies, brother. Didn't mean to insult you without even trying. I promise you, you're not too dumb. But Rick Brunson is, because to me, what does he do besides being the best player on the team's father? He isn't tasked with being the offensive coordinator or defensive coordinator under 2 head coaches now, which means Tibbs did not trust him and Leon did not trust him to take on a new role under Mike Brown. So what is the point of him if he's not either coordinating our offense, our defense, or next in line in succession to take the team over if someone is fired? There's no role. His role is to be the best player's dad and be able to train him and rein him in from bitching about calls. He doesn't actually have a schematic role on the bench. So yeah, I think he's expired. He shouldn't be here if Brunson's here. To me, they're two different positions that require two different expectations. And I don't think that Brunson has met his, but Jalen has.
He could be a development coach. Like you might as well be a development coach. I
don't know what his role is. Is there anybody else last year from last year into who's still on the staff?
Yeah, Mark Cheeks,
Mark Bryant, and Darren Erman.
Okay. So I don't know what his role is, to be honest with you. Like I don't really know what his role is. But for really, I feel like when you're switching regimes, you usually do need like one or two holdovers to kind of like bridge the gap and catch people up on like what's been happening and who's what and how the system works.
Yeah.
But you said we have four of those guys. We might not necessarily need four of those guys together. That's why I asked that question. But yeah, I don't know what his role is. Maybe it is just Jalen Brunson's dad is here to, placate Jalen Brunson. That could be it too. I don't know. That might be an important role for us. Jalen Brunson, we want Jalen Brunson happy, so that might be important. I'm just keeping it real. If that's his only role here, it's like when J.R. Smith's brother was here. You know what I'm saying? Like it was like when Giannis's brother keeps getting another contract. I guarantee you, if Giannis Antetokounmpo comes to the Knicks, guess who's coming to the Knicks as well? Exactly. And they'd be like, "Why is this bum here?" You know why he's here, right? It's the same reason. It's the same reason to keep the top guy happy.
I agree with this take. It's a great take too. I do think Jalen Brunson's too babied in this organization.
Mm-hmm. He has his buddies on the team. He's that on the bench. His godfather and Ed Francis. The team has pampered him since day one. And if we're being honest, yeah, it's one of those things where it's like it's nepotism, bro. It's nepotism, man. It's nepotism. It's always it's nepotism everywhere, bro. It's nepotism. I don't even think this is a Knicks thing.
Agreed.
Yeah,
this is like a company.
Universal,
like that's universe. It's not just the Knicks. Like that's why I mentioned the Bucks and Giannis, Antetokounmpo, or his brothers everywhere. That's just.
I think
Curry's this year.
Yeah,
I would argue this is the most extreme version in the NBA because no other player's father is an assistant coach on a bench through two different head coaches, and no one's godfather is the executive president of basketball operations. So the Knicks operate a level of nepotism that has never been seen before in the NBA.
I think the Lakers might be in competition with that. But I hear you.
Yeah, I will say this though. I do think that if it doesn't work out with this roster, all that nepotism stuff has to be thrown out the window, and you're gonna have to make some radical changes within the roster and within the organization because you can't keep going that nepotism route and it doesn't work out. So if it continues to go that route and you see a move that's gonna better the team and it means some of Jalen Brunson's friends gotta go, they gotta go. It's that simple.
I think it's probably not gonna be a popular take, but I don't really know me. I don't care about popular takes. I just speak about freaking mind. Like I don't think any of that shit matters, to be honest with you. Like I think it only matters when it comes to the players. You know what I'm saying? Like if it's nepotism where it's like you're giving up cap space to pay this player, but the player isn't doing anything to help the team win, then I think it's more of a problem. Like I almost feel like the Giannis thing, the Giannis Antetokounmpo's brother being on the team is more of a problem than Jalen Brunson's dad being more of a problem because there are cap limitations now. You hiring a coach, even if he doesn't have a role besides making Jalen Brunson feel better, it's not going to affect how you build out the rest of the team. It's not going to affect how much you can spend in other places. It's just like keeping the best player happy. Yeah. But like if you're giving the roles to let's just say Josh Hart stops being effective, right? And you're just keeping Josh Hart around because Jalen Brunson's happy, even though he's not effective on court, I think that's when it's an issue. More than like a coach that's not going to affect the outcome of the game and the cap space. It's more of like I feel like it's more symbolic to fire him than like make the team better.
Yeah, that's a fair take. I will say I'll see your hot take and raise it. If Mike Brown doesn't make it to the ECF, Leon's got to go with him. Boot both their big asses out the door, in my opinion, because Leon Rose should not choose the third coach. I don't think he's earned that, especially if your second one only lasts one season. But he's got to be moved. You find a new president of basketball operations first, then once he's hired, he finds his coach. But I don't think that Leon Rose should hire 3 head coaches, especially if the second one is such an unmitigated disaster.
I disagree with you. I feel like he deserves another chance to hire a coach because of where we were before we started and where we are now. Like we built this team into a contention team. And even though you can say he messed it up, like I said before, I gave an example before when Isaiah Thomas was here, he hired Lenny Wilkins, got him fired. Then he hired Larry Brown, got him fired. Then he had one more shot to get it right. So I feel like you have 2 coaches, he got one more shot to get it right. And then it's not gonna be like when Isaiah Thomas is here where Leon Rose is gonna hire himself to coach. But like but I do feel like he'll be on the hot seat. Yes, he's gonna be on the hot seat, but also I feel like he deserves at least one more shot to get the correct coach in here to get this team to a chip before we let him go.
Also on the Knicks, usually you don't get fired unless you just show incompetence. Like you just shown like obvious you can't do it. I don't think that's what Leon is doing. I think Leon has had his misses, but you can see the logic in the choices he made. So I don't think it'll be there. I think he probably would get one more coach. I don't think he really chose Brown. Brown was just the best option that made themselves available.
He wanted Jason Kidd. Whew, okay.
Yeah, I don't think it was his like, hey, if he came out the bat, if he fired Tibbs and the first name that came out of his mouth was Mike Brown, that might be a different thing. But they searched high and low. They made offers. People declined. I think this is what fit. This is like, yeah, you're looking for a used car, and I gotta get what works. I gotta get A to B, and I think this is the best they can do.
I think the same way Tibbs has a ceiling. Like Tibbs is a great table setter, culture initiator. I think Leon it could potentially be the same way, and we might get to a point where Leon has met his ceiling, and the moves that he doesn't have the wherewithal because he's never been in this spot before on how to tweak the roster. It might even be a big tweak like trading Bridges or Cat, or smaller ones like using Deuce in a trade and then using that money to sign Mitch, whatever it may be. But I stand by that. I'm okay with y'all disagreeing. I think the chat's probably going to be a little mixed too. But if Mike Brown is that much of a failure and we don't make the ECF, that is a horrible look for Leon Rose.
I agree with that. I wanted the Memphis coach. I think we all on this program wanted the Memphis coach.
Yeah, we all did.
And we was pissed that he didn't make it to we was pissed. I think that's the one, when it comes to the one thing that might be frustrated with Mike Brown, I think it was the coaching hire stuff, because I do feel like he went more for the name than the resume per se. Even though the name came with a resume, like I felt like there were certain things that made more sense with the Memphis coach than Mike Brown, but that's just me. Like I don't know if you hire another guy eventually, if they'll be more willing to hire a no-named coach. But a coach who just has a good reputation, which is what I thought would help us, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. See what happens this year or next year. All right. Salute to the chat, man. Shout out to everybody rocking. I came in here eventually. You've been potting for a few hours, but But if you like the show, hit that like and subscribe, man. We're here after every game talking Knicks basketball. We will certainly be here tomorrow for the revenge game versus the Kings. So be here or be square right after the game. And this is your first time here. If you're on Twitter, if you're on YouTube, because there's 276 people combined between YouTube and Twitter. There's 47 people on YouTube, which means there's about, I don't know how many people, I'm not that good at math. There's about
Roughly 230.
Roughly 230 people on Twitter. For you, listen, we're trying to get to 10,000 subscribers. We just got to 9,000 subscribers at the beginning of January. It is now almost end of February, and we're at like 9,023. So if you're on the fence or you like the show, you like our breakdown, you like the way we see the game, even if you don't like, because listen, we all have different opinions. So if you disagree with somebody, there might be somebody on the panel you agree with eventually. So it's somebody for everybody, all right?
Very true.
Whether it be B and Ebony, they're like super positive a lot of times, whether it's Lee, who's just like fire everybody, or ECF, depending on how he feels that day, or it's Ryan, who was even killed, or it's Fritz, who was a trade.
Or me, I'll burn everything down.
Yeah. Or me, like there's a personality here. I like how you said that before, Lee. I'm still on that from now on. There's a personality here for everybody for you to identify with. Sure. So if you like this show and you like to have different personalities and different takes, definitely join the show and hit that subscribe button and help us get to 10,000. All right. All right, yo, I'm good. I had everything off my chest. I'm ready just to sign off and eat some food.
Are we going to talk about what? Paul? What's his name? Rich Paul.
Rich Paul?
Oh, wanting to become
Giannis?
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's do it real quick.
Say that for tomorrow, man.
Sure, I mean, we did almost 300 people in here. I mean,
yeah. Listen, we're gonna talk about. You want to talk about that now, Rich Paul?
I mean, it is essentially breaking news to some degree. It did come out today.
All right. Go ahead. We can talk about it. Go ahead, Fritz.
I think it's a pretty big development. I think it's
break down the news. Don't give the opinion first. Break down the news first.
I think Rich Paul is basically propositioning Giannis to facilitate making him go to where he wants to go. The thing is, Giannis's agent is not Rich Paul. So basically, what he is saying is
dump that zero for a hero.
Yep. Rich Paul is one of the most powerful agents in basketball. When he says don't draft Bronny because he's going to the Lakers, the league listened, and Bronny was not drafted and he went to the Lakers. So he has a lot of sway in the league. If you go against Rich Paul, he has a lot of sway in the league. Once he said that he was not going to be sending players to the Knicks, Leon listened, and Leon came to the table and had to make nice with Rich Paul. So he is someone who can make things happen, and I think that's a big deal because it's basically a that's all, folks moment. If he takes him up on that offer, that's basically him demanding to be traded.
I agree 100%. I told y'all back in, I think it was May of last year, while the finals, I think, were still going on, that Giannis would be here this upcoming summer, whether we win the championship or not. Like, he's target number 1, 2, and 3. I think this is a direct backroom way to make it happen before the trade deadline, is Rich Paul becoming a negotiator, because we know that him and Leon squashed their beef, and Leon's going to use that to his advantage to now facilitate the trade demand, which would give the Knicks complete leverage if Giannis says, that's the only team I want to re-sign with. Like, it's hard to negotiate outside the realm of possibility, right, in terms of the pieces that are outgoing. And it also saves him and I think Mike Brown's job this season. Because even if you underperform, well, we had to integrate Giannis, right? It's a very valid excuse. It's not a bad excuse. It's a valid excuse. I think it extends the window one more year as well. I think Giannis gives you a longer window and a better window than Karl-Anthony Towns, who I just think is untenable with him and Brunson. So I think there's a lot of truth to this rumor. And if he does become his agent, I think it will happen before the deadline.
Longer window? Is it a longer window?
I think so.
Also, Milwaukee in their state, Milwaukee is not a destination. They're not A tier destination. They're not a B tier destination. They are one of the worst destinations in the league, and they cannot afford to be on Rich Paul's bad list. And if they don't have access to high picks, so now you have to make sure that free agents are willing to go there. So if they're not willing to go there, that's a whole new problem they don't need.
Well, that's certainly a development. I'm not gonna hold you. Even with everything being said, I'd be extremely shocked if anything happened with Giannis to the Knicks before deadline. That means he would have to fire his agent, get a new agent, and then make that trade happen within the next month. I'd be shocked. I'd be absolutely shocked. But
it could be that Rich Paul is just negotiating because he has players all over the league. So he may have something in mind he already, is starting on and to say, this is what I want, involving other players that I have. So like he may have something in mind already.
If Rich Paul gets Giannis to New York, he becomes the number one agent now and probably for the next 5 or 6 years. It cements his legacy as one of the most powerful, successful agents of all time. If the Knicks win a championship with Giannis, he might move into number 1 or number 2. But it's like him and David Falk. Like, how do you mess with that reputation of what he's been able to pull off outside of the LeBron sphere? This would be like a non-guy that was his guy that he teamed up with and helped a team win a chip, especially the Knicks. There's too much leverage there, I think, that Giannis has opposed to Milwaukee.
All right, I'm gonna say something else unpopular. All right, screw it. What are these medicals on Giannis's calves, bro? Like, dude had like 65 calf strains in the last month. How far away is this Achilles tear?
Yeah,
that is a legit fear for me. I'm not gonna hold you. I'm being dead serious. This is not KD, where his game is predicated on skill and jump shots. He is premium athleticism downhill player. If he does not have that, and we make this big trade for Giannis, we are screwed. What are these medicals looking like?
And the price has to reflect that injury.
Yep.
So like it's not even should it be done, but the price is the price the same? And basically, is the price the same?
And that's why I asked that question. When I said, is it a longer window? Because how long is that window if your calves can't hold up?
Well, I'd say it's a longer window, best case scenario, right? If he tears his Achilles, there's no window because you just collapse. Brunson can't do it on his own.
Right.
If he's able to avoid an Achilles injury, I do think it's easier to build around him and Brunson than the current construction of the roster.
Is it? And I have questions about. Listen, man. Like, shout out to B who said this when she was here. How does Brunson? There's a lot of the Dame Giannis thing didn't seem to work out because Giannis needs the ball. How does that dynamic work out with Giannis and Brunson?
But Brunson has been like a willing to try new things. Like that's one thing. Like Dame, like had a real issue with it. Like when it comes to Brunson and Cat, Brunson was like literally forcing the ball to Cat when he came here just to get the guy going. Like, I don't think that's an issue with Brunson. I think Dame literally, I need the ball in my hands. I need to hold the ball and dominate the ball. And I don't think Brunson has that type of ego. I think Brunson likes having that last shot. I don't think he has the ego. Is like, I want to hold the ball. It's I don't think he has that Kobe that.
I don't think he has. I think he doesn't. We talked about it here. Like the passes to power forwards and centers have not been good with Brunson, no matter who's playing. Because we thought that would be easier for him to do when Cat is here because he can stretch the floor, and it still hasn't been that. So it's like,
but Giannis could demand the ball. That's the one. I don't think Cat has like ever like demanded the ball. Like, I'm in position, give me the ball. Like, if you're in position, I think Brunson will definitely give it to you.
I think, you know what I will say though, the caveat, Giannis is better in the post, and I feel like Randall was better in the post, and that's why they had a great season when Randall was in the post and it was a spray thing. So maybe that's the counter to it. I'm just talking out loud, guys. I'm talking out loud. But go ahead. Sorry, go ahead, Ryan G.
Yeah, I'll say this. Although Cat and Brunson hasn't really worked out and Giannis and Dame hasn't really worked out, I am confident that Giannis and Brunson can probably work out, just for the simple reason that, because I watched Giannis with the Bucks and the amount of attention that he draws, and with Brunson now, I do think Brunson has tried to play off ball with the Knicks at times, where he's allowed other guys to bring the ball up the court, and then he get the ball, off of like, him just moving towards the ball or him running around screens and things of that nature to get the ball in his hand. And I feel like with the attention that Giannis controls on the offense side of the ball, I think Brunson would be willing to be off ball more, because I think he knows that he's going to get more open shots that way with Giannis having the ball in his hand and demanding so much attention from that. And I also think that with the whole Brunson Giannis dynamic, I also think that, like, for example, when Cat's on the floor, Cat doesn't really get double teamed. Like, teams play Cat straight up. So Brunson doesn't really get any advantages from playing with Cat, really. Whereas with Giannis, he's going to get advantages because teams usually bring attention towards Giannis, and that's going to open up space for Brunson to operate more in space. So I feel like Brunson and Giannis would probably work together as a tandem, and probably much better than Cat and Brunson. I don't know. That's my opinion for what I've seen with the Bucks, and I don't know. I'm just trying to piece it together, like how it might look with the Knicks.
Fair. Well, we'll see what's going to happen, man. It's going to be an interesting trade deadline. It's going to be a very interesting trade deadline to see what happens and what doesn't. Or at the very least, the summer is going to be wild. All right. Because I feel like this might be the craziest summer this might be like the KD year, the KD Kyrie year, with the Knicks fans being tuned in the summer, and how everybody was just kind of locked into what's going to happen. I feel like this is the type of energy it's giving this summer if there's no trade happens at the deadline. So curious to see how this goes. All right, yo, that's the show. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. If you have, hit that like and subscribe. We have to have a game talking Knicks basketball. If you're on Twitter, because I see there's 295 people altogether, which means there is 240 people on Twitter. Bring it over to YouTube, man, and hit subscribe so we get to 10,000 subscribers. We're at 9,023 subscribers right now. We're trying to get to 10,000. So come over to youtube.com/KNick Of Time Show. And for you guys on Twitter who want to help pass the word, share it. We see, shout out to everybody who's sharing. Shout out to everybody who's sharing on Twitter. Shout out to everybody sharing on Facebook. Shout out to all the new subscribers. And shout out to the OGs who've been holding it down for us, man. And shout out to the people who just been going through all the iterations. One was just me, Ryan G, Edson, and Kathy on SoundCloud. To Raw joining us. Shout out to Raw, who we still cool with. To Lee joining the program, to then bringing on Ebony, then bringing on B. Thank you for all the guys who supported us through all iterations of the show. We definitely appreciate you. All right, yo, that's the show. Thank you guys for watching. Lee, let them know where you can find you, man.
Brandon Smote to Twitter @_ Lee Escobedo, LEESCOBEDO. I'll have some new Substack heat this week.
Yo, Lee, tag me on the Substack stuff, because sometimes I feel like I don't see all of them, even though I have my notifications on when you post.
Bet.
So I can retweet. Okay. All right. But definitely follow the KOT Substack, and follow Lee, of course.
Mike Murphy has some new heat this week as well.
Shout out to my guy Mike Murphy, man. Always salute to Mike Murphy. Love that guy. Yep. All right. Fritz, let them know they can find you, sir.
Fritz handles on Twitter. Also NBA Economy Show on YouTube. So going live like 4 times a week now. So please tune in.
There you go. It is trade season. So bring your calculators, bring your pitchforks, because Fritz is going to have trades and proposals, and some you'll love, some you'll hate. And make sure you hit that like and support my guy Fritz.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, man. Couldn't do the show without you, bro. All right, Ryan G, let them know they can find you, sir.
You can find me on Twitter at RyanGKOT. You can also find me on Instagram at Sir G is chillin'.
Sir G is chillin'.
That's SIR. G is CHILLIN.
All right. You can find us at the KOT Show on Twitter, KNick Of Time Show on Instagram, and the KNick Of Time Show on Facebook as well. Also, SoundCloud, iTunes, Google Play, and Stitcher. All right. All righty then. That is the show. Thank you guys for watching. All right. I see the retention. Y'all liking the show. And as always,
shout out to Worldwide West. Everywhere we go, we leave a worldwide mess.
Mercer here in these Knicks streets. That's the show. We out of here. Be safe, East Blue Drew.
York, New York, big city of dreams. New York, big city of dreams.
NYC.